Welcome to Surviving in Thailand Part 2. This is where we look at topics and issues related to being in this country long term. And today's topic is quite complicated. We're looking at dating in Thailand, and I thought to do that we better get to somewhere that's a bit more romantic. I'm in Ceylon at the moment, so the nearest place I can think of is the river. I've had a lot of guys over the years claim they've slept with Thai Airways cabin crew. If I had £1 for every time I've heard that, I'd be quite a rich man. And the guys who say that, you think, well, what, she chose you over the whole plane? Yeah, it's quite a tough one to believe. I'm sure it has happened, but not to the guys that told me this. I think this place is great for a first date, and this is actually the first time I've been here alone. The last time I came was with a friend who had 3 young kids, so it wasn't that enjoyable, to be honest with you. Sorry, John, if you're watching. But I think this is a great place to bring a first date because there's a lot of things you can do that are quite romantic, like watch the river at sunset or just sit by the river and watch everything go by. There's lots of places to eat and drink at very reasonable prices. There's a big wheel. There's a merry-go-round and a house of mystery, and lots of stalls and souvenirs you can buy as well. And as far as I know, there is no double pricing. I was very pleased yesterday with a turnout on a survey that I did on the channel, and there were 640 votes out of 8,000 subscribers, so that is not really a bad number at all. And the question was, who would you prefer to go on a date with? And 66% chose Thai, 6% chose Westerners, 17% had no preference, and 12% said that they took a vow of celibacy at birth. And there were some fabulous comments on that as well. So 6% of those votes said they would date a Westerner here in Thailand, and I reckon quite a few of that 6% were probably women, because you don't get that many Western women making a beeline for Thai guys. Let's be honest, it's not a common thing. On the other hand, there's always a lot of Western men who say things like they would never date a Western woman in a million years here in Thailand. And if you look at the type of men who say that, I think the feeling would be mutual. Online dating has been really popular over the last couple of years due to this current situation. People haven't been able to go out as much as they would like to, places haven't been open, and sometimes you couldn't even have a romantic stroll in the park. But online dating sites and hookup apps have been popular for years anyway. A lot of Western guys have been using them to try and get dates with Thai women, either before they arrive in Thailand or while they're here. But there is a bit of a complex code of conduct on dating sites that needs to be followed if you're going to be successful. I think the easiest website to navigate for dating has got to be Thai friendly. It's one I used briefly in 2017, and it's easy to navigate, easy to sign up. Subscription costs are very reasonable, and you don't need to scan forms of ID like you do with certain dating websites. And also there's more sort of regular women on there looking for friendship, looking for dates, relationships, or girls who just want to learn English, so they say. Thai friendly, like most dating apps here, has its fair share of freelance prostitutes touting for customers. And occasionally I used to get messages from profiles with questionable looking pictures, poses. You can usually tell from that. And they wouldn't have any message, it would just be a price. And that was what they would charge for a night, I suppose. I didn't ask. But I'm sure there's a lot of guys who are using Thai friendly for that and would take them up on it. But there's also a lot of guys using Thai friendly to find themselves what they call a normal girl. And for them, their past visits to Thailand have probably only been entertaining bar girls. And now they want a taste of a regular girl from a regular background. And for them, they're just trying to hook up with a girl for free sex. And the giveaways are pretty obvious in the way they try and win these girls' hearts. Some of the methods are actually quite shocking. But not all these regular, normal girls are angels. You're going to get stiff competition, pardon the pun, if you're chasing the more attractive profiles, because you're going to be up against guys who are willing to throw cash and gifts at some of these girls. And you've got to learn to be able to read between the lines. You know, there's going to be times where you think, well, maybe she took a little bit long to reply to my message. Maybe she's talking to someone else, and you've got to assume the worst. So you've also sort of got to be, what's the word, a bit streetwise, as they say, in that sense. And one thing that works against Western guys is the fact that, you know, a lot of people think all Western guys are made of money, and that doesn't help. But on the opposite side of that, you get a lot of Western guys who think that all Thai women are cut from the same cloth. And there are a lot of myths about Thai girls in general. But let's keep things real here, in perspective. These myths are not based on nothing. There are women out there who are looking to catch a rich guy for marriage, constant supply of cash and gifts, and he would preferably be out of the country most of the time and quite old, so then they don't have to be too sexually active with these guys that they marry for convenience. But it also makes people generalise about Thai women, and let's be honest, that is a very small minority we're talking about here. So most Thai women resent that, and also resent Western guys thinking that way, which is completely understandable, of course. I've read and I've heard a lot of Western guys saying things like they lack deep and meaningful conversational skills, and that is one of the reasons why relationships fail between Western guys and Thai females. But the reality is, how deep and meaningful do you want to go? I mean, do you want someone who's going to discuss the political situation with you? Do you want someone who's going to challenge your views on feminism? Or do you just want someone to talk about the simple things in life, like your favourite movie or the weather? Thai women come in a lot of different varieties. I've made it sound like shoes or fruit and vegetables, but that is definitely not the case, believe me. When you're jumping into a relationship with a Thai female, what she's going to be like and what kind of conversation you're going to have will depend on many things. And we're talking about age, background, education, their job, what kind of work they do. Did they graduate from university? And what subject was it? Can she speak English? Is she exposed to Western media? Also their social circle. Have they ever had a Western boyfriend before? And has she travelled abroad? Where did she go? So these are all things you should be considering when you're looking to get into a relationship with a Thai female. Too many guys get into relationships based on her looks and sex, and all the important stuff I mentioned earlier is just secondary. And once the lust wears off, holes will start to appear in the relationship and things will become strained. I'm not saying that is the case in every relationship, but it's very possible. And these are the things you've got to take away with you from this video and consider. And hopefully you found this video to be informative and possibly helpful.